Hello and welcome back to Easy Boards in the silver section, but we're not just in the basic silver, we're in the shiny silver, and I'll explain that in a bit. But more importantly, what have you brought with you? Well, you brought number 5, which is all about assets. Right, we're going to talk about this because it's a very varied topic, but also we're going to do it in 8 minutes, right? We're going to do it fairly quick as always, but don't forget also already on the board is a car example, and I'll come up with that towards the end so you know about it. But also, is this right for you? Because when we're dealing with things, in my experience, it's most people who work for a period of time need to build up an asset base that they're going to draw on and live off in the future in a certain time. Now, it might be that you're in that process working it through, or you might be already there, but both of these are going to be relevant. And for some people, it's not all about I need the biggest, best quality result. I just need actually it done earlier, and that's earlier than I thought. I didn't even know I could do it that way. So when we're going to take it further, we're going to focus on those things. But first, before we do, I'm just going to go through the basics, which is all about the answer to the question that we came up with the last one about the pillar. And that was about, why is it difficult for people to plan further forward? What's the most difficult thing they struggle with? And from experience, and it's generally the same for everybody, it's a lack of knowledge and a lack of confidence that they couldn't make a decision. And if you did, you have high confidence and high knowledge, you can make decisions easier. So we're going to concentrate on that and focus, but that's what the whole of Easy Boards is about. But anyway, when we're dealing with the asset base, a lot of people look at different types of assets, and they need to be in a position when they're going to eventually rely on them. And we have people over 60 now in the world, is about 12.5% of it, and in the next few years, 2050, it might be double that, 22%. So it's going to be so much bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at not just the assets, but the structure of things as well, and we're going to take this further. So when we focus on the assets, these are going to be dealt with in a second, but there's 2 others that are very important, and that's time and health. And we only realise these aren't working very well when they start to deplete and they run out of something, and then it's raised up. So even with this, we're just going to focus it on it very quickly. So we're going to do it on the whiteboard, and we're going to use the black pen of fact, but also the blue pen of forward thought. So we're going to blend these 2 together and see how it works. And you know, when I did my plan and structured it up, I actually did use a little plastic sheet to make sure it didn't get wet. But I also got this divider, and I thought this plan folder, I had one section 1, which is the design, and there are some actions to do, and I thought, oh, maybe do another scenario, and I thought this is something to keep, and I'll keep this and follow it through. But anyway, that's me. So even with you, what you're going to do is you can do it in your area, and you can design it the way you want to, but the most important bit as well is that you're always in the private area, so just do it the way you want to do it, but me and you are still going to do it together, right? So in the usual ways, when I ask, are you ready? Yeah, I'm trusting you're ready. Come on, let's go. And I'm just going to get to the board quickly and say, okay, quickly, how did we structure this? Well, we did the basic line item, and that's all about time. We then put ages on it, then we did the income after that, and then later we added the forward thought of what their last income would be before I stop work, and then what kind of income, well, after that, stop work, what kind of income do I want, and where's it going? So also, we're just going to go back to the assets first as part of the plan, because we just need to check something, and first we use black. And what we want to know is all at the beginning position there, what was like the collective amount or total amount of the assets that you held, right? So if we say, okay, there's just a big pot, and we just say, okay, we just call that assets at that point, it could be we just want to know what amount that is in the box. So you just put that amount in the box. Now, it is possible, and it's certainly normal, that even in that position, it could have been that the assets weren't actually assets. I had a negative position because, like me at that age, I had a student debt, right? Okay, but anyway, everyone's different. So when you go further forward again, the next one we want to know, the black fact, is the total amount of the assets you've got today. So that could be just another pot. And in this example, maybe the pot's a bit bigger, maybe it isn't, okay? But we still want to know what the amount is there, and we put that money there. But that is assets again, so that's today, right? Now, also, there's another one. I'm going to use a blue pen for this, but not going to spend much time on it, right? So this is blue, and it's all about the forwardness. But when you get to this point here and you start stopping work and getting to that position, we also want to know, well, there's going to be another asset base here, but how much is in it then, right? So the same thing, there's a number to put in as an amount, but we're just calling that blue for the assets, right? Later, okay? Or it could be now if you're that age. But what we're going to do, we're going to stop there for that, because the important bit is Mr. Checklist obviously wants to mark that and record it. So he's only going to record certain bits though, and that's our 2. So when we're at number 8 and we have the assets as the tool items, he only wants to know 2, and that is this one when we're all the way back to the beginning. So that one would be 8A, and the other one is the asset base value now, and that is 8B, right? So in the boxes we still want a box for 8A, put the amount in, and 8B. Right, now we know there's another one in the blue section, but that's going to come back to at a different level of the planning, right? So we're going to leave that one and give him a quick salute and give him the pen back. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to take it further. And now he has what he needs. It might be that you're still thinking about things, and you might be thinking about this, yeah? And it doesn't really matter what that is, but you're thinking about this, and it doesn't really matter what that is to other people. It's all down to you, and it's not wrong and it's not different, it's just something that might be relevant to you. But what you've done is, even when you take this off, you've parked it on here as something to keep working at, right? So what you've done is something that is going to make a lot of difference. And even if you hadn't done something like this, building things in the future and getting the choices and things structured properly is going to be hard, and that's why people can't do it. But if you have, you're always going to keep revisiting it and coming at it in a certain way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it a little bit further forward, and what I mean by that is you're going to get your green tick, you're going to score it red, amber, green, and we're going to get back to the plan and go further. But before we do that, even in the driving example, when you're driving a car, then the asset base is different for everyone. Am I driving a little Mini or am I driving a Rolls Royce? Yeah, and it's different for everyone. But there's a reason, not just the asset base, but there's a reason why people have got the car in between and done all the different bits, but the result they get is right for them. So what we're going to do, we're going to focus on that in a bit more detail. But the next bit, we're going into the silver area again. We're going to take it a little bit higher again. But before I do, just to explain these assets and the importance of them. Well, the assets in the pillar are all different types, and they're just examples why people vary what they do, but the point is, it doesn't really matter which one you use as long as it gives you the results you want and it's managed properly. So even in there, all assets are different, but one of the questions is, in a certain way, which is the best asset to have, right? So I'll come back to that on the other video and we'll take it from there. But also, if you know anybody who's building up assets and try and live off it in the future, please share with them, because it might help them too. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the jigsaw big side and we're going to get on number 5 and put it in the progress area and see how we're going. So I'll see you in a second. Do you know, these are great, these as well. These are my favourite, and the reason these are my favourite is because really, you know, in theory, they taste great, really nice. Well, yes, now back again to our brilliant plan. But I just wanted to double check something first. You know, I didn't really eat money. This stuff is just like chocolate. It's great, but just double checking on that one. Anyway, the next bit is saying, okay, I went through all 5, and the assets are important. I sort of understand it, but you know, there's some things I need to double check. I'm not even sure how I can use it or the best way, how long it'll last, all this kind of stuff. So you know what? I actually scored number 5 as a red, right? So that goes in the system there, yeah, and it does score itself as a 0, which, you know, well, whatever, but yeah, sorry, the general's making a point. right, I'm sort of getting this in a good way, because it means red's been highlighted as something we need to get the facts on or go back to later. So yeah, there's no problem with it being that, so we'll come back to it soon. And thank you very much for what you've done. I'm giving you a bit of a salute actually, thanks for that. Right, we're going to go on and move on to number 6, and this is all about something important, and it's all different depending on what country you're in. It's all different depending on what you earn, but you know, it can be something that is actually helpful for the country, and it's very much the opinion on this, so we'll see what the answer is in a second.